Man, this is some cold game that I just deciphered for myself. Do you want to know why the Matrix raises up so many Christian boys and whatever religion to be cucks? CUCKS. Where there's this deep desire to watch another man devour what you are meant to be pursuing, to desire to devour for your own, whether it be women, whether it be in, films, adult films, whether it be in sports where you see many people become fans forever. You're just a fan. You're never the number one. You're always in the stands. You're always watching that chick get wrecked. You never want to own anything. You never want to own your own time. You never want to own your own business. You never want to own your own land. You want to rent. Not really that you own any of these things in any case, because yote utaacha hapa, you see. But the Western ideology raises boys to have this type of ideology, because the Western ideology is number last when it comes to dealing with women. The West and their perception of and how they deal with women means that they are at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to the sexual dynamic. You see, they're at the bottom because of their own perception of, not a perception, ideology of how they want to enslave and entrap the woman and the feminine, and use force and coercion and bribes. It is inferior to all other ideologies, the ideologies of the North, the ideologies of the South. The one that reigns supreme is always the ideology that is at the center, but followed by that is the ideology of the East, then of the South, then of the North, then of the West. The center, the balanced man, the man who is fully integrated, is always the number one. And surprise, surprise, this type of men throughout society have always been found one amongst exclusively, not exclusively, black men, melanated men. And most of these men were, one, found in African traditional societies, that's one, and two, were pimps. P-I-M-P. I don't know what you know about me. You dig? Pimps. If you want to find how your ancestors, the type of manhood, how they moved, whether you put those pimps in fancy suits or you put them in leather skins, pimps really are the true embodiment of masculinity and how our ancestors, the men, were. They were closer to pimps. The wind agrees. The wind agrees. The wind knows this is truth. So in society they'll tell you the pimps are the ones that abuse women. The pimps are the ones that did this, they traffic this. I never have and I never desire to have a chick do whatever. But the truth is the truth, and I know greats when I see one. When I look at one of the greats of those documentaries, when I look at a pimp, I'm looking at a man that can have a conversation with Floyd Mayweather, Jordan. Why do I keep calling him Jordan? Michael Jordan, the great basketballer. You see, I don't know if these people are good of character, so let me not say put such great, because you discover many things, But all these great men, you look at a pimp, just a pimp with the pinkies out, nigga, with the polish and the fancy suits, And yeah, these creatures are the closest thing to how our African society, our African men, your ancestors were. They were not these straight, squared jacket men, manze. They were smooth players. Remember, polygamy was there. They had 4, 5 wives. This concubine, and this is the average man. This is not the king. This is the supposedly average man, but there were no average man. Why? Because all the men strive to be, they were professional people in striving for manhood. They had all devoted themselves through initiation to become men, because what else was there to master except being a man, the daily requirements of manhood? So they were on the side of pimphood. That's how they dealt with their women. Like a Kikuyu man had his own Digira. You see, the Kikuyu man had his own Digira, his own center, and then the first wife, and then all the other wives. You see, and there was still the shadow world, because your ancestors were still human beings. You can even hear some of the stories when the white men used to come to Africa. The African men, the African husbands, would do what they do, man. Would do what they do. Really, they would do what they do. How do you think these white men started developing such an insatiable taste for black women while they were here? It was one of the things that they made them to refuse to leave. But they used it by force. You see, they're over here. My 6th, 7th wife is over there. I sent her. She already came, miserably crying. She didn't want to do it, but I sent her over there to entertain Governor whoever, to do whoever, because I'm going to get a piece of whatever. You see, our African men knew the deed, because a man had to understand how to swim in an abundance of feminine energy. And in doing this, his masculinity had to be so strong. It was the level of the pimps. Their self-talk had to be on point consistently, man. Go to a traditional African man, those niggas, man, their self-talk, you can't tell them there's gonna be a bad day. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna do this. You can't have 4 wives and be a man that consistently moans and cries. You've got to be a winner. Because there's always gonna be problems. There's always gonna be A, B, C wives. This. Your health. You have to manage all this sex, all this not sex, all this discipline, all this giving her. But if you give her now this, it's a game. It becomes an economy. That's why as we're moving into this new 5D world, things like this matter. Because we'll have everything that we need. It will be the wisdom on how to manage abundance. It will be the wisdom on how a man can manage multiple women, because you'll have the land like your ancestors. So the wisdom of these things are important. They're important, man. I'm having goosebumps. They're important. They are very important. You've got to be a student of masculinity if you are a man, and there is no one else to study but the pimps. You've got to eat everything they give. Those are masters of manhood, and their manhood is true. Their manhood is not one of muscles and this. One of their strongest attributes that I have figured with the pimps is their self-talk. Their self-talk is cold, nigga. Better than Floyd's, better than the greats. The greats already have a higher level self-talk than anyone, even in their own domain. But of the greats, because a great man is the greatest of all things, you see. So a great man is better than a greater basketballer who isn't a great man, you see. The domain of manhood and womanhood holds a different candle to the universe. And once you become a student of masculinity, of manhood, which I am, because I got a dick, That was the assignment. That was the orientation paper I got. Nigga, you got a dick. This is your way. And I accepted it. Because in that, there is joy. There is beauty. Once you can manage the abundance that is coming to us as the chosen, as a chosen man, it's something I am endeavoring to learn. Because I know in this new world with this new abundance, as women become richer and wealthier, there is one thing they don't have, there's one thing they'll never have, and that's a man, and that's this man. They'll always need a man. You dig? So the pimps, PIMP, really any great, you look at Floyd, you look at even Terence Crawford, the new champ, black with the long hair, and I'm talking about the real black, the black that the wine man doesn't like, not the chocolate black, the black, the me black. Yeah, that's the champion, the big daddy champion, you see. You know what I'm saying? And how can I say, how do I know this? Because I am there too in my own domain. I don't need to be in a podium. We don't all need to be there. No. Manhood will give you that level of confidence. That's how an African man used to walk. This is the average African. The average African man was close to a pimp than anything else. That's the only thing, that's the only depiction, that's the only example we have of what most African men, especially the East, because one of the biggest attributes of the people of the East is our third eye, it's our game, you see. So the pimps, their job, their secret sauce is their self-talk. How they talk to the subconscious mind, it's on a different level. That's how they can manage all these women for years and years and years. And you can't even, you fumble no bitch. You fumble no bitch. The self-talk of the pimps is impeccable. I'm the best, I'm the greatest. I know I can do it. Yeah, you see, that bitch did this, but listen, I called that bitch and I told her, yeah, everything's gonna be alright because you're working with me, you're with the best. You know you made the best choice. Utenda wapi? Man, their self-talk is cold. It's like a blanket that engulfs everyone. Oh my God, the wind is in union. The wind is in union. The pimps, man, once you overcome that matrix lie that the pimps are these evil people and this and this and there's evil people everywhere. But if you listen to them, because a woman is gonna do what a woman is gonna do, and nothing is going to stop a woman to do what a woman wants to do. Huwezi stop dem kufanya kenye anataka. You see? Pimps, man. Pimps and masculinity. As an awakened man, the first thing I realized that the Matrix wanted to make sure I never reach is that level of self-talk of the pimps. You can't have that level of self-talk if you're in the Matrix. They won't allow it. You have to go on your own, man. You're over there, you're working the cashier and you're talking like, man, I'm the best, I'm the greatest. Every woman around you, because there's one thing that a woman will never, ever be able to resist, and that's a confident man who believes in himself. Man, you can be ugly as fuck, but man, you might fuck because of your confidence. The pimps and their self-talk. You've got to learn how to talk to yourself properly. Doesn't matter who you are at the highest level. at the highest level. It's not the sharpest, it's not the fastest, it's not the strongest. It's the winners, the greats of the greats. The one thing they have about them is their self-talk. It is concrete. They know themselves. They know they are the champ. As a man, whatever tribe, this is what we've lost amongst our young men, is that self-assured nature, that confidence. You have to get it as an African man, because that is the thing that will keep your kingdom running. Because the African man was not destined to just have one wife and stay in a cubicle that's like a prison. You were destined to create empires and kingdoms. For your wife to have a sister wife, for you to enlarge the family, for you to grow and to expand. In fact, polygamy is for the woman, it is not for the man. Polygamy is every woman gets a man, not one man has two wives. Polygamy is every woman gets a man. You dig? This is how the traditional societies used to work. Because it was matriarchal. The woman, it really prioritized the woman. There was no woman who would ever be found outside without a man. Why? Because they didn't believe in her power? No. Because there had to be someone to hold space for her, to be feminine. The society couldn't imagine that there was a woman waking up thinking about A and C and D and E and G. No, they wanted her to be a woman. That's why they ensured that there would always be a man in charge of her, whether it be this guy or this guy. And that includes sex. That includes sex, manzi. Our African traditional society did not live in fantasy. We know a woman's needs. They knew a woman's needs. So they needed to provide for it. That way, initiation process was the killer of African traditional society. Once they came in and started interfering in how the society, our society, kama the Agikuyu, how we circumcise the men, that's how they started to demoralize our society, and they took our culture. Mpaka saa hii imebaki tu language. Because there was secrets that were shared while the men were circumcised that would allow themselves to play the game properly and manage all these women, manage all this land. That's why the man had his own hut. That's why the man didn't even go out to farm. What was he doing all day? Gathering game to manage all these women. You know, keeping his energy, eating proper foods, handling business here and there. You see, handling matters of this wife and that wife, conjugal rights. You see, having to ration out dick, having to put this chick down because she's too feisty, she wants some dick. Huyu mwingine naye ndo huyu mwingine. You see, that game kept the man busy, and that is the game that ultimately matters in the end. It's that game. So you've got to study the pimps if you are a melanated man. Those are the greats of the greats. Those are the greats of the greats. The very best one. You study them because their self-talk is cold, concrete. It is on a different level, and it has to be on a different level because of the heightened feminine energy they are dealing with, and all the other things, especially because they're in a criminal domain, so it is even heightened. So and this pimps are cold. That's why they were always respected above everyone else. And you don't have to do that. You don't have to put any chick on the track. All you have to do is up your self-talk. Man, your self-talk has to be concrete. While you're young, as we are young in your 20s, you just have to put work on it directly, man. Like every day it has to be a period where you're just talking to yourself, hitting those jabs. I'm the best. To a point where it's a background noise where you are constantly hearing. I've been here before, I can handle any problem. Of course they want me. I'm irresistible as fuck. All these things are true, but they become even more true when they never stop. When your subconscious mind knows that there's no problem life can throw at you, because while you're facing it, guess what's going through your mind? I'm the best. You know, I've been here before. I've solved bigger. I've handled bigger. I've taken bigger. I'm strong. I can take this day. I can take this problem. I can have this. I can handle any amount and it won't move me. Millions, billions, 10 shillings, 10 billion. That chick, light skin, dark skin, bigger, smaller, it doesn't matter. Life will never move me. I know I am the source. I know I am everything. I am the center. I am the centerpiece. And again until your subconscious mind just yields to that safety. And that is when you become a man. When the woman inside of you trusts you more than anything. No one can come in and create fear in your subconscious mind, man. You fucked that bitch with affirmations, man. All she's doing is just orgasm and yani, I'm the best. Unanisho nini? I'm the best. You dig what I mean? I'm the best. I know I am. I'm the best. I'm the greatest, you know. And you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again. I'm never stopping. You know I'm never stopping. Why are you playing with me? You know I'm never stopping. Si unajua sitayacha. Again and again and again. You've got to study the pimps. This is outside the matrix, but you've got to study the pimps. You've got to study the pimps. Because the pimps were on a higher level, on top of the president, on top of the black market, on top of... Because when you are a man, and you are a master man, you are the number one. You are the king. And so it hits differently. Same with woman, man. Same with woman. So keep doing it. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. It is all in the self-talk. It is all in how you talk to your subconscious mind. That's how you'll talk to women. That's how you'll talk to life. That's how you'll talk to everything. You have got to learn how you talk to yourself. And like in anything, they are the best, they are the greatest, and they are the number one. And it doesn't matter what you think of them. You have to be a student of life and learn from everyone. And the pimps, their self-talk is the closest thing that comes to an African man. Do not listen to these African men now that are smiling and they are caught. An African man, you couldn't touch that nigga, man. Unamshikaji. How? They were kings. They were kings. Each one. And I'm talking at the average guy, man. You just get dropped into any community in whichever era of the ancients, man, and just pick a man. You see these African stories, they show you that an African man was just walking there aimlessly. Nah, man. There were young men who were warriors, but there were men, 30 plus, men, who had been playing the game of manhood. He has 4, 5 wives, nigga. Like 10, 16 children, lost like men. Their self-talk. And all they did every day was pursue wisdom, pursue wisdom, pursue wisdom, pursue wisdom, get better, pursue wisdom, pursue wisdom. It was insatiable growth. Because that's all there was to do. Not this GAT, you focus on this. And you know what happened? They became greats. So much greats that the losers wanted their land, man. Their land, their beds, they wanted to kill this place where they used to be hanged. We were gods. They used to hang us on a tree. When you hang me, what are you doing? You're trying to demoralize. Like, look, This is the man all 6 and 7 of you wives are looking at. I've hanged him there. They wanted it because the women were women. Men, women have never ever tasted that level of safety since. They've never ever tasted that level of safety. Most people have never even met a woman unless you knew a proper pimp. Unless you knew a proper African man. Now they're telling you that all African men were close to that, man. Of course, they were the best and the greatest, just like they are good footballers, bad footballers, average footballers, but they were the best. And that's an aspect we have lost, is your self-talk. It has to be cold than a motherfucker. Cold.